I've listed this on the detail template, and now I need to go add it to the detail page. I'm going to very simply copy this code here and paste it back into here. All right, now there's a lot more validation you can do. You can check to see if this ID exists, and I'm not going to go into that complex stuff because it's I don't think you need to worry about that yet, since I'm pretty much introducing you to this. So I'm going to use the ID here, and the ID is going to equal, and I'm hoping I remember that function name correctly. I don't need to find records because it already knows the ID. And then, instead of member listing, I'm going to put member detail. So I'm going to save changes. Now it knows the ID, and it knows I entered the wrong WordPress function for pods. And we have a codex here that you can definitely contribute to if you are a developer, and you can post questions in the forum and ask anything you might want to ask, and we'll try to put it into the codex for other people as well. So I'm going to use the function reference here for developers, and it was pods URL variable. What did I enter here? Pods URL variable ID members detail. Yeah, I added an extra S, by the way, so there is a difference. All right, so there's my detail. There's my name. There's my Twitter account. And there's my website. So I now just listed this member on DFWWP WordPress website. Tony's also there. I know his is too, but you can get even more complex by adding a permalink column, and I'll show you that real fast. It is right here. And a lot of people call this permalink or slug, but I'm just going to call it permalink just because it's so easy to say, because it's familiar with everyone else. And permalinks are automatically generated from the name. So the reason why this name is there and it's required is because it needs to always be related to the permalink in the functions that's built in. So it makes it easier for the majority of the users to use it. You can always customize things much further than this. You can. There's so much you can do. I can't even begin to tell you everything I've done. I'll take you to a site here very shortly. So we have a permalink column that I created, and now I'm going to just go back to the members, and I'm going to edit my name, so I'll have a permalink. As you see here, the permalink isn't filled in, but if I save changes, it's filled in now. And I can go here, and I'm going to go back to the members page I was on. And see here, the ID is listed in the URL at the bottom. I can now change that to using, instead of the ID, I can use the permalink field. And that's where it gets really fun for development, because you can make everything look real nice and slick for users, and they know where they are just from looking at the URL. In the world of WordPress, I think IDs and URLs are going out, so it's very useful to use permalinks as much as possible. So as you see, Scott Kingsley Clark has a permalink, but Tony doesn't, because I didn't add Tony before I added the permalink. So I have to go back and save Tony's if I want to show the permalink, or I can save it, add a custom one if I want to. It's not tied directly to name and restricted to it. You can customize it. I can be Scott K. Clark if I want to on the permalink. And you can hide and show these fields on the front of the website if you want to add a form for adding a user. It's easy to hide these fields and not show them at all. So this is Scott Kingsley Clark, and there it is. It knows that that was that wildcard. It knows that the ID was really a slug because it wasn't numerical, and it pulled in my member information here perfectly. So there is a very simple working version of a member directory that it can be completely customized, and I'm sure I'll be working with Tony very shortly on building it out for him and helping him. But let me take you to a real quick site. I think we might be running out of time here. It's a site I'm in development with. In development meaning it's practically done, and we're waiting on launching it on the hosting that was fun to figure out. Not because pods is so restrictive, it's just because their hosting doesn't have URL rewriting on it. So you can't have fancy URLs, you have to use IDs. All right, so this is very simple. I didn't design it. This is just a disclaimer, I didn't design it. It's not my content, it's all from the client that I did it for. As you see, we don't have the Google AdSense here yet because we haven't launched it. So we're trying to be smart there. But this entire site is built off of, I think, about 3 plugins. There's Pods, it manages the gallery, and the events flyers here are all pulled in through OIO Publisher, I think that's what it's called. It's not GPL compatible, but there's nothing out there yet that works as great as that I found. And then we have the posts here listed here, just WordPress posts, so nothing too fancy there. And then events, video, gallery, radio, all these things are built off of the pods. So contests and news, that's built off of posts. So that's just a different category name for each of those. So we have different events here. You can buy tickets based on the URL you're given, and RSVP, whatever you want to do. And this is all built into pods. So I've done some customization with CSS, maybe some extra date field modifications like this. I used an input helper for this. Very simple to use. But everything here is, I didn't have to go into pods and say, do something different. No, this is all built into pods. So I don't have to do any extra work. I do the enhancements. I don't have to go back and change things. So just a really quick example of a really great working site. Done a lot of work on it in the last couple months, but if you guys have any questions, I'd like to open up the floor to questions about pods, maybe future information about releases, or questions about what we've ran over in the presentation.
Is there a limit to the number of records?
As many as your server can handle. It's limited by the database table, just as much as WordPress is. So it's if you have 10,000 gigabytes of space, then you can hold 10,000 gigabytes of records because you have to worry about the server software and etc. But yeah, no limit. Anyone else have any questions? Spam boy.
How easy is it to share a pod? If I create a pod that somebody else wants to incorporate on their website, and I export it and you import it?
Yeah, I did not talk about that, but we have a package manager, which is my little baby. Not the baby. My little feature I contributed to pods that I was really excited about. And that is the package manager. And that lets you share your packages with other people. And when I say package, I mean you custom create your pod package based on what's inside of it. So say I want to just send out this members pod to someone else. I can easily export it. And there's a bunch of data, you copy it to Notepad, save it somewhere, and then you can come back into it and import it into another pod's location and import this into maybe the Austin WordPress Meetup group if there's one. It's easy, very easy to use, and sticks with the user interface. It's a big priority. So you don't have to go back and do all the extra work. It's very simple to use, basically. Here we have an Extend tab in Pod's website where we have public packages that have been added. Wow, there's been a lot since I've last been in here.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, this is a great question because I almost didn't cover that. A lot of things are already done. So if you want to have a checkbox radio input, this is just a package here created. You copy and paste it into. I think this guy didn't do it right. Anyways. I did one here called Pick One, and what it does is it's a package, you import it, and it's just a helper called Pick One, and you can use it with your code. I didn't have a lot of time to cover everything you can do with pods, but definitely check out the website, check out the user guide, check out the forums. There might be some very great questions you could ask in the forum that we can try to help answer. I'm on the Twitter account a lot of the time, so Matt gets on the Twitter account every now and then, but more than likely you're going to talk to me, so feel free to hit up the Twitter account. I check the Twitter account more than I check the forums because I'm the Twitter account's so easy to just a little